So my special guest today is the wonderful Melissa Sandford. Now, Melissa has been immersed in the chiropractic world for over 30 years as a practice owner, a chiropractic spouse, speaker, mentor, and teacher. As one of the founders of Circle of Fire, a retreat for women involved in chiropractic, Melissa realized she had a really deep pull to work with women who had either lost their way or who are looking for a deeper connection with themselves, their families, patients, and communities. Now, this inspired Melissa's clarity sessions and masterminds. And the intention behind these is to give women the opportunity to reflect on where they currently are and where they see themselves in the future. Now, she has very kindly agreed to chat with me today about her journey and about why women, empowering women is so important. And she's with us with the halo of truth behind her. Hi, Melissa, how are you doing?
Yes, I'm doing very, very well. And I'm enjoying being on my first call with my halo of truth. It's my new... I hadn't realised... Yeah, I hadn't realised quite how it was going to look. So, yeah.
It's very holy. So, Melissa, for people who don't know much about you, just give us a little bit of your background.
Okay, so I'm 51, turned 51 in, had my birthday in lockdown. So within the first week of that happening. So that was a little different to me because I am an extroverted personality, and I love nothing more than getting together with a bunch of people and having some dinner and drinks. It's one of my favorite things to do. So that was a little bit different for me to have some gin over a Zoom call, but hey ho. So yes, I'm 51. I'm first and foremost a wife and a mother. I have 6 children ranging ages from 8 to 25. I love being a mum. But I also love to work. So I trained originally as a school teacher. I was a school teacher for a couple of years, and then I met my first husband. I've been married twice, both to chiropractors. I know you think I would have learned the first time, but I did not. So anyway, so I met my first husband traveling, and he introduced me to chiropractic. So it was really through him, you know, just starting to take care of me and, you know, adjusting me. I didn't really know why, but, you know, when you marry a practitioner, as I'm sure anyone out here is married to anyone who does any kind of natural health type stuff, you just kind of get on board, right? So I just got on board, started getting adjusted, but what I noticed was a massive transformation in my own health, and just the way I viewed health changed to having sort of an viewing the health from the inside out rather than the outside in. So that sort of sparked a change in me. I became a mum, started working in the practice, and really just kind of I fell into chiropractic really. And I've been involved now for 27 years, I think. I've been actually working in the profession, yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And then you moved into producing your clarity sessions. Just tell us a bit about those and how you got into doing that.
So I think I've always been really interested in personal development, and, you know, I guess starting out with sort of psychology in my teaching degree, you know, I was really interested in that kind of side of teaching. And then when I was working in the teaching profession, I actually was really drawn to the kids that just didn't thrive, just naturally was drawn to that. Like, I guess you could say the underdog type of kid, you know, I was definitely drawn to that. So I taught in a special kind of unit within the school where they were kids that were either thrown out of class or their school, they'd moved to our school. They were just naughty kids. Some of them were not very smart and needed the support academically, but a lot of them were just naughty kids. And I think, so, you know, I've been always drawn to that, helping people who are misunderstood, I guess. And so through my own personal development journey over time, mixed with this natural desire, I'm drawn to those people. I think it's sort of just brought me to where I am now, wanting to, you know, help people live a life that is more in line with who they are. And I think even for myself, if I think about in my sort of high school years, thinking about what career I was going to do, a lot of the considerations were always, is it a stable job? Are you going to be able to have a family alongside of that? Da da da. But never really, well, what makes you happy? What makes you
Yeah.
happy? Yeah, what do you want to do all day that makes you happy? I don't really remember having that conversation. And I think that's a lot of us. So I think, you know, sort of going through the years, I've been drawn to working mostly with women, but with people on like, let's just do something that makes you happy, all right? You know, rather than just this hamster wheel of, you know, having to have a secure job and something that makes sense and, you know, that kind of thing. So I think those questions that were coming up for me over the last 10 to 15 years, and if you just think about my little microcosm of chiropractic that I work in, just seeing a lot of people that were unhappy in their practices and their businesses, I thought, you know, I want to find out a way to help those people.
Yeah, cool. Because you also do something called the Vital CA as well, which is very much about helping
CA, yeah. So people,
the backbone of chiropractic almost.
that's very kind. There's quite sure I'd go that far, but you know, yeah. I think for CAs, I started a program for CAs really because I felt that a lot of people that apply for a job to work on a front desk in a chiropractic office, or even in a natural health center or a health food store, or, you know, any of those kinds of places that are different to, you know, what's normal in our society. I think you take on that job because you think, oh, receptionist, yes, I'd be good at that. And what you don't realize at the time is you're not just answering the phone and taking money and booking appointments and shuffling some paper around. You are involved in a person's journey to health. And so you don't come with those skills necessarily. And then also you think, well, how do I get more involved than other answering the phone? So I wanted to create a program where I could help CAs get some skills and strategies to be able to have conversations with people, you know, around health, understanding where they're at in their health journey and helping take them somewhere different. So that's why I sort of started that, really, was just to make sure that CAs had a place to go to do some training that was, you know, different to just the basics, because the basics are important, but it's all this other stuff that you can learn.
Yeah, so for people who don't know, a CA is shorthand for chiropractic assistant. And already you could shift that sort of holistic receptionist kind of mantle to any other profession within the natural therapies as well.
Oh, absolutely, because people have so many questions. You know, most of us are raised in this, you know, society of, you know, we get sick, we put a Band-Aid on it, whether it's a Band-Aid or we take some medication or we have some surgery or we, you know, something external to us will fix this problem. We aren't really raised to think, okay, well, our body's self-healing, self-regulating. What's going wrong that these things are happening? You know, we're not taught to think like that. We're just like, oh, something's wrong, I need something to fix it, rather than taking a step back and thinking, well, what am I doing that could be contributing this? Yeah. So I think, you know, it is a different job. You know, you aren't just shuffling paper, you're part of all those questions that start bubbling up for people once they explore that whole idea of natural health. I'm sure you found the same thing when you got involved, you know, first in chiropractic, and now, you know, the work you're doing in EFT. It's like, it's kind of a bit mind-blowing, and it's almost too good to be true. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. When you first hear it, you think that can't be right.
Yeah, particularly when it's so simple as well.
Yeah, it is. If it's this simple, why isn't everyone doing it? You know?
Exactly. So Melissa, the number of years I've known you, you've been a real force for helping to empower other women, and I know, or I believe, that's quite important to you. So why is that? Why is helping other women to feel empowered and to go for what they want, why is that up there for you?
I think partly because I just see so many people not living the life of their dreams, and also just not recognizing the value of themselves. And I think, you know, I was raised to be, you can do whatever, you can have whatever, you can go, be strong, be tough, and, you know, kind of a bit bullheadishy. And so I was like that for a long time. And to some extent, I'm naturally like that. You know, I'm a bit of a force. I do recognize that. But actually underneath all of that, I am actually quite soft and sensitive, and I have deep empathy for people. And I think that side of me wasn't really shown to the world. And I've had to learn how to do that. I've had to learn how to be softer with people. And I think that's true for all of us. You know, we do what we can to survive. And you know, I think there was a long period of, you know, where women were trying to get their place in the world, that, you know, you've got to be tough, you've got to play a man's game. And I just don't think that that's true. You know, I think our strength is in staying in our femininity, not being a man in a man's world. You know, I think we've gone the wrong way doing that. You know, I'm not saying that's right for some people, but I think for the majority of women, the softer we stay and the truer we stay to the core of who we are, that's where our strength comes from, and that's where our power comes from. It's not about big shoulder pads and being bulgy and having balls. You know, it's really not. You know, but I think for a long time that's sort of where, you know, this women's empowerment and women's strength kind of went in that direction. And I think a lot of women think, oh, I can't be like that, so therefore I'm just going to stay over here and stay small. And I think you don't have to be like that. So I want to encourage these women over here, which I think is the majority, that the power is just in being who you are, and whether that's helping your own family or your small community, there's so much strength and power and value in that. You don't have to be on a platform. You don't have to be Oprah Winfrey or, you know, you know, those things are important and those people are great. They've done a lot of great work, but we don't all have to be that. You know, we can be that in our tiny community. We can be the Oprah Winfrey in our tiny little community, and it's just as valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely. In the time you've spent working with women, Melissa, and helping women, what's the number one issue that you've seen that's holding them back? What tends to be the recurring theme?
Oh, not feeling good enough, I would say, would be a huge thing. Not feeling good enough, not valuing themselves, feeling like they have nothing to say, nothing to contribute. And then you get in a conversation and they have so much to say and so much to contribute. So yeah, feeling like they have no voice and no value, for me would be a common theme. Yeah. I think we kind of think that, you know, we've done a lot of work in, you know, women can vote, women can do this, women can do that, but have we really reached a place where not so much that men view us as equal, but women see that we have value? Because even just from, say, some of the events that I run, the biggest criticism I get of women speakers are from other women, which I also find very interesting. So yeah. I think women, if we just focus in here on the women rather than the women-men thing, I think it's women seeing lack of value in themselves and that don't have anything to say. But when they do step up and have that platform, it's the pulling down of other women that I have been shocked about.
Yeah, that's quite shocking. You don't expect that. You almost kind of expect all the girls to rally around and support. That's quite shocking.
I have been shocked by that. Yeah. I think you know, I guess it's the same thing with guys too. It's just people, you know. So I think there's difference between men and women, but if you just think of people, there's people that want to rise you up and there's people that want to keep you small. And I think that exists in both sexes. So absolutely. I think I was shocked by that in the women's. I hope I've answered the question there.
Yeah, absolutely. So with
I do digress, as you know.
Yeah. We love your digressions. With regards to the clarity sessions and the clarity masterminds that you run, Melissa, how long have they been going?
So this is my third year of doing the Clarity Sessions, which is a 10-month program. It's just for women in chiropractic. And we basically work together for 10 months. We start in February and finish in November. We meet 3 times a year. We have a monthly webinar, which is usually around something to do with their business. Sometimes it's of a personal nature, but it's usually something they can do within their business to help it grow, or sometimes it's actually scaling the business down. It depends on where they're at in their life, what they want. And I think that's the thing, you know, sometimes we get on this hamster wheel of something we think we want, and we get there and go, actually, I don't want this, you know. So some of the work I've done with women is actually scaling them back down from having a machine of a business where they, you know, all of a sudden they're just a business manager. They're not actually a chiropractor anymore. I'm a business manager. I never wanted to do this, you know. And so scaling them back down can be one of the things we do. So that's what we do. And then we have calls twice a month, individual calls with me. We're in a chat group, support group. So it's really just spending that time to think, okay, who am I? What do I want? And how am I going to get from here to here? Yeah. And just helping them on that journey, really. That's how I would describe that. The Clarity Reset is a program I run with Heidi Brown, and that is really based on a lot of the work that her and I have both done with Philip McKernan, who I know you've heard of, but if whoever's listening to this, if you haven't heard of him, he's an absolute genius. He runs a program called Brave Soul in Ireland, and Heidi and I both went to it 4 or 5 years ago, I can't remember now. And we've since done a follow-up program, and Heidi's done quite a bit of other work with him as well, which I would love to do, had I had the time and not so many kids hanging around. But, but I do need to spend some time at home with them. So yeah, so it's really based around that, and it's about, you know, getting back to the core of who you are, a little bit like the Clarity sessions work. It's just, you know, well, who are you, and how do you want to implement that stuff more in your life? Some of the difficult conversations maybe that you need to have with loved ones, difficult conversations you need to have with yourself, and just leading a life that is just easier. I think some of us, our lives are so complicated, and they're complicated in our own minds and our own hearts. So it's about unpacking that stuff so that you can just wake up in the morning and just feel lighter. I think that's how I would describe his work. The work I've done with Philip has helped me be lighter as a human being. I don't have that underlying, for me it was anger and frustration. I held a lot in my physical body. I could never really understand why. And from sort of unpacking some stuff, it's just gone, you know, and it's so nice.
So Melissa, what are your plans for the rest of the year other than getting out of lockdown?
I'm hoping very soon not to be waking up and asking myself, what day is it? That would be nice. Maybe to wear a bra more than twice a week. That might also be nice as well. And brushing my hair, you know, no, seriously. I think for the rest of the year, for me, so I had planned this year to leave my role at the UCA so that I could expand more in training and coaching and developing and running more programs. And also I'm going to go back into my husband's chiropractic business and help him out a little bit. But those plans have gone to kibosh with COVID-19. So I will be staying at the association probably for the rest of the year.
For those who don't know, just give a brief outline of what the UCA is, because I know what it is.
Okay, so it's a chiropractic association, National Chiropractic Association. I'm the CEO of it. I've been there for 17 years, a long time. We don't talk about that. I keep thinking it's 2 years, but all of a sudden it's 17. So
yeah,
and I've loved it. I love it, love it, love it. I love working with chiropractors. I've loved what we've achieved there, and being part of that, growing and being something has just been incredible. But I recognize that I want to to do more of, you know, this other stuff, and I can't do both of those things. So yeah, so I will be there probably till the end of the year to settle that all down. And, you know, with chiropractors having to shut their businesses and reopen, they need that help, and I know that I can do that. So I'm sticking around to do that. And then really, I think what I've learned over the last six weeks or so, when we've been in this strange time in our world, is that I actually want to lead a bit more of a simpler life. You know, whilst there have been moments where I've been really bored, and I have to admit I have been really bored, there's something nice about not rushing here, rushing there, this appointment, that in the schedule, da, 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 da. So my plan for the rest of this year is to keep my schedule simpler. So if I've booked on a Saturday and Sunday one weekend, and then I get asked to do something the next weekend, it'll be a no from me. I am not going to be away more than 2 weekends a year for the foreseeable future. I recognized it was taking a toll on my health. I was away from my family too much. And yeah, so just, I think scaling back is what I'm going to be focusing on this year. But at the same time, scaling back is a strange thing, because I don't want that to come across as I'm going to be doing less. So I don't want to be doing less so much, but like just changing the way I was doing everything. Does that make sense?
More focus on fewer things.
More focused on fewer things. That's perfect. I was just like, boom, boom, I can do that. Oh, you know, it's just like, whoa, you know.
Yeah. Fantastic. Melissa, where can people go to find out a bit more about you and about the clarity sessions?
I do have a website. It's melissasandford.com, really easy. There's not a lot of information up there right now because I've barely gone on it for the last 3 months. I've been so busy with everything else. But yeah, people can go there. If they're in the chiropractic profession, I mostly work just within the chiropractic profession, if I'm honest with you. So yeah, anyone who's in the profession, either for staff training or if you want to do some mentoring or coaching with me, then that's the place to find me.
Fantastic. And I will put links or the link to that in the comments as well. So Melissa, before I release you from this chat, have you got any top tips for women who are feeling a bit lost right now?
Top tips for if you're feeling lost. There's some really, really great books and material out there, and people you can follow, some great podcasts. For me right now, who I'm listening to a lot and who I've been reading a lot for the last couple of years is Brené Brown. I think a lot of people are. But her latest podcast, which she released not that long ago, I think is really, really good. So that would be a great place to start. I would also look up Philip McKernan. You know, he does do some, he's got some great interviews. So if you just go to his website, philipmckernan.com, I think. Before I went to any of his programs, I just listened to a ton of his interviews. Like the London Reel has some really great podcasts and interviews on there. But that's what I would do. I would just start looking in places like that. And then the minute you find that person, when you're looking on the screen or you hear it in your ears and you think, oh my God, they're talking to me. Do you know what I mean by that moment? And it's so different for everybody. Someone who I'm resonating with right now might not be right for you, you know? So it's about finding that person where you think, oh my God, they're talking to me. And that's how I felt when I found Philip McKernan all those years ago. I felt like, oh my God, he gets me, you know? And I was obsessed with him. I listened to him all the time. I don't listen to him quite so much anymore, not because I don't love him and he doesn't resonate with me, because he totally does. It's just I'm totally got his message and I'm looking for something new. Does that make sense? So what's resonating for me right now is Brené Brown. So I would just look for as many recommendations you can of thought leaders out there and just find the one that you go, yeah, this is what I need. I would also really, I know a lot of people are really into meditation. I'm not. I'm a terrible meditator. I do it. But what I have implemented in my life over the last year, which is just my form of meditation, is I have a hot bath about 4 times a week with some Epsom salts, and I don't drink wine in there or eat chocolate or read or do anything. I literally just submerge myself in the water for 15 minutes, and it's like my way of just really, you know, staying centered and clear, close the door. So whatever it is where you have those opportunities where you are just able to just shut out the noise, you know, if it's meditation or bath, or I don't know, some people run. The only time you'll see me running is as if my house is on fire. But
Something's chasing you.
it's about, don't listen to what anybody else tells you you have to do. You have to do what makes you feel good. That's what's key. You know, it really, really is key. And ladies, watch what you eat. Like, honestly, you know, I know we all love a treat and we all love a drink. I do no more than anybody. But if we consume 80% good food and drink lots of water and get good rest and good sleep, we lead happier lives. We just do.
Yeah. Great. Thank you ever so much, Miss. That's brilliant. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you. Thank you for your time. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you.